Hello, welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you're joining in from. Welcome to another Strayos webinar. This is a bit different format for today. It's a masterclass panel where we have an experts from the industry who manages the drill operations. And the topic for today's session is how do we manage the implementation of the digital drill logging systems. So this will be a great session. Some of the housekeeping items are, so this webinar has a chat option where you can send your questions. So there is a Q&A tab is there. Throughout the webinar, please send your questions if you have. We will moderate that at the end. We'll be also releasing a couple poll questions during the webinar. So please do engage and participate in that poll. And also during the webinar, we'll be recording this session. So once the recording is completed, the recording will be sent to your email as well. Without further ado, I would like to kick off the agenda for today and introduce our panels here. Mike Trujillo, he's from Wesco. He's with Wesco since 2005 and brings 19 years of experience in the drilling and blasting operation. Began as a blast crew member and prompted to be a blaster in 2008. Then he became the manager and responsible for all of the blasting operations, running a 5-man crew. And now he's in current position as operations and technical manager for New Mexico State, where he's responsible for also new product testing and the entire design and engineering of the blast. Another panel member, Nick Cunningham, is from Petra Drilling and Blasting. Nick has more than 20 years of experience in the drilling and blasting industry. And after spending 11 years at Alpha Explosives as an operations manager, he became project supervisor with Arizona Drilling and Blasting. Now he leads Petra Drilling and Blasting as vice president of operations. He is able to pursue his true passion, mining technology to improve the industry, and he's spent 5 years also in ISE chapter president, helping others improve their operations as well. So welcome, Nick and Mike. Great to have you today.
Thanks, Ravi.
And just for those who are here who don't know me, so my name is Ravi Sahu, and I'm the founder of Strayos. I would like to start with just a quick overview of Strayos for those who don't know. So let me quickly share my screen, and we'll go through that. So what Strayos is, it's a platform, it's a software solution designed especially for the mining industry, mining and quarrying industry. We are operational in about 30 countries where 3,000 sites use our system on a daily basis. And we have a global presence in terms of the team coverage, so that gives us ability to do 24/7 support. What we also kind of focused on, how do we optimize the entire mine to mill value chain? So starting from surveying and planning, you can bring your data from different types of scan, and then it generates the digital twin, which can be applied in many use cases to bring new types of intelligence automatically using the AI tools embedded in the platform, such as rock mass characterization, drilling and blasting, pattern design and optimization, then moving towards the post-blast analysis, blast movement, fragmentation, and then optimizing the loading and hauling conditions as well through various analytics that comes out as well. And then it creates this central intelligence reporting as well, which allows you to understand what KPIs we are missing, what KPIs we should improve, and then bring everybody in a holistic, picture where what are the things that we should do to make more efficient operations. What is the digital drill logging here? So digital drill logging, when we think about anything that your current operations are in the form of tracking through pen and paper, or tracking through different aspects of data collection, what's happening in the drill, how do we digitize that? And that's what today's session will be about. So walking through, like, as you can see, most of the intelligence of the drilling operations is translated into many millions of dollars downstream. But if that's not been captured properly, our blast optimization doesn't happen. And that's what the crux of today's discussion is. Most drill logs are still handwritten. Sometimes those information gets missed. Sometimes those information just cannot be understood properly. How do we structure that rich information so that everybody can understand and also use it for the optimization? But not only that, handwritten drill logs do not allow drillers and blasters to identify the trends. If it's structured in one place digitally, you can use the data to optimize this, build reports for performance enhancement for your machines, and can easily audit as well, going back to several months, prior, as well as few years ago, like what happened, to ensure any compliance as well. So Strayos offers a tool called Strayos Fielder, which allows to capture, analyze, and reporting of the digitized drill logging in a very easy way. And then any operators on the cabin, they can just use it as they are operating the drills, or before and after as well. They can use it to capture this information. It is simple guided workflows, simple layout, and then it automates a lot of the reporting functionality once it's been captured. You can digitize any type of information, what is happening in the site for that specific hole as well. Going to more kind of instant report creation, which allows you to track KPIs. And then you can drill down to weekly reports, monthly reports, and then each blast reports as well, which are tied to the drill logs now. That allows to instant sharing and collaboration. You can track production KPIs as well, how much drilling is today, what is going to happen tomorrow. So the production forecasting can also be. So any shot can be utilized, either you're doing a drone survey or without a drone survey, all this will and you can use that to optimize the drilling performance. And one of the big things that I see is the collaboration with other members. So while the drilling is happening, digital logging is happening, 5 other members in the crew or a blasting contractor can also see what's being logged. So it brings everybody in the same page, works without internet. It saves the data locally in the phone or tablet, and then synchronize it later with cloud when you have a connection. So bringing everybody in one place, it's the key challenge most of the time. So this is just a quick overview here. What it allows to showcase is how you can quickly use the tool to log. And the main key item that everybody looks for is, how do I use this information to optimize my blast loading? So you can easily design a shot, and if you're designing a shot in different platforms, you can move the data here in this app, or if you're designing it in Strayos, you can easily sync that shot design, and then it moves the design pattern into the application. And then you can start logging that information here with a specific timestamp. The timestamp gets automatically captured by your phone. And as it's moving, you can record comments, specify specific drill length you're drilling, and then also record specific features. The cavity, void, broken rock, all this gets captured, and this gets transformed in, for the blasting team, where they are like monitoring what's my drill logging information is coming. The another aspect is if you're still designing the shot, pen and paper shots, you can take a picture and upload, and it will create the pattern. It will recognize those holes and then create the pattern, from that. So there are different aspects of this, tools are there, how the digital workflows are set up. So with that, not taking too much of a time, I would open up to the panel here. So let me circle back. So I would start with maybe Nick, you maybe if you can also expand what Petra drilling and blasting does, what's the focus is, that would be great for the audience to know here.
Yeah, so over at Petra Drilling and Blasting, we're a new startup company 6 years ago, and we kind of founded our company based on just providing another level of service and another level of innovation that that affords us the opportunity to just do better, to embrace some of this technology and things like that. And we work mostly in Southern California, so there's occasionally some opportunities to expand into some other markets. And I'm kind of a nerd, so I really like the data. I like to be able to pick up the data, look at it, and as close as possible to real time, and kind of make some adjustments on the fly. And so that's kind of become our company culture, is just to try to utilize the technologies that are available to us, to just do better. I mean, so yep, that's what Petra is all about. And we've grown from 0 employees to 16 employees in that 6-year time, and from 1 drill to 18 drills in that same period of time. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's some impressive growth there in the industry. Mike, I would ask you the same, if you can introduce Wesco in your own words.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, as Ravi said, wherever you are. I'm Mike Trujillo. I work with Wesco, Western Explosive Systems Company. I've been with Wesco for about 20 years now. We're mainly in quarries and construction, residential developments, as well as the coal mines. We offer downhole service there. So I'm in New Mexico. Wesco's in 6 states, I believe, and still growing. So it is, that's good.
Fantastic. So I would like to start with maybe just kind of setting a bit of a context about what's the digital drill logging is. We have already kind of covered with a quick presentation what that means for everybody, right? But let's start with why to switch, or what are the advantages of digital drill logging over traditional paper-based methods. So maybe Mike, if you can share your experience having gone through that experience.
Well, I think the biggest thing I was looking for when I talked to Ravi about it, or he introduced it in one of the other trainings, the digital drill log, is I was always chasing drillers or for their drill logs, or waiting for their drill logs to plan a shot, to find out the loading, what we're going to need. So when I got the digital drill log app for the drillers, I can look at it in real time on Strayos. The shots can be scheduled quicker because we know that they're just about done, or they are done. the real-time information on the holes is there on the computer right away. There's obviously a lot more detail in what they put in there versus what they would put on paper, or they lost their paper, or they have to try and remember to do it somewhere else, and they just weren't as accurate as they are now.
So the accuracy is kind of one of the key factor that guided you or prompted you to implement the digital logging system. Nick, what are kind of your thoughts here, like when you were thinking about moving from traditional paper-based, to the digital systems?
Yeah, so, a little bit to echo what Mike's saying, drill logs, they used to kind of show up, they'd be covered in grease or, food or whatever the situation was. More often than not, we couldn't get them in even a remotely timely manner. So a lot of times blasters were actually heading out into the field with literally nothing. I mean, maybe there was a system for marking a hole if there was some extreme condition or something like that. And so now we're heading out into the field with the real information, in real time. And in most cases, if there's good cell service, literally, even if the driller's drilling right up to the minute you're showing up to the blast, you can just pull open the data and we do everything on our phones and our devices anyways, so it seemed like a no-brainer. And it's really changed, just the speed and accuracy of that data coming in. I mean, it's like a different world.
So I think that's a good segue to just kind of think about accuracy is there now, which what about the reliability? Does that also help, or is it now the reliability is either increased or decreased, because now the accuracy, sometimes when the speed is improved, but the reliability of the data also needs to be intact. So how does the digital drill logging improve the reliability in this case of the data?
For me, Ravi, it's, when in the past, and I lay out a lot of holes, I also use the drone and the Strayos for design and of the shot, and do a lot of GPS as well. So when you develop it on Strayos and send it to the fielder app, when they click on a hole, it tells them exactly how deep to go with their drill depth. And in the past, they're probably guessing. I think that's the only way they could really do it, is to guess on how deep they should go. So you get uneven floors and high spots or over drill. And now with the Strayos app, the development of the pattern, the GPS, as well as the fielder, when they click on a hole, it tells them how deep that hole needs to be. So I can go out and check prior to the blast, just do some quality check on their patterns, and their holes are to depth and they're to the right depth. So it had been a big improvement on reliability and liability.
Yeah, and to echo what Mike's saying, the reliability is kind of junk in, junk out. So the junk is the unreliable information. So we had, to echo what Mike's saying, from the pattern being laid out to the hole depths being assigned to the map being made, and then obviously this whole paper drill log thing and everything else. The reliability is like, it would be like comparing a Yugo to a Rolls Royce. Reliable data that actually means something is actually tied to a hole that really exists. And even from the driller's perspective, because we do also a lot of GPS layout and I mean, if we say that the dot is right there on the ground and we send it over to Strayos, to the fielder app, it's there. I mean, it's reliable. So that reliability actually goes both directions. So it goes from us, whoever lays out the pattern and designs the pattern, to the driller, and then they just give the same reliability right back. So it's a vast change in reliability of data. And, to add on to that, we've had, I can't even think of an instance where the information wasn't available or something happened to the information, and so the information it's just there. Like if they put it into the app, then it's there. And so the reliability is really second to none now with the information that we're having out there.
That's fantastic. So the speed, accuracy, and the reliability is some of the advantages that you are seeing moving from traditional methods to the digital drill logging here. I want to kind of maybe go a little bit more deeper here is if you can share your experience or examples of how it has also increased the operational efficiency. And the operational efficiency could be meant anything, which means you're planning, not just the design and engineering side, but planning the shot crew, like, how the production needs to be done, or communication, stakeholder communications between the blasting team and the drilling crew. So if you can share your experience, how it has improved or increased the operational efficiency in your drilling operations.
So Mike touched on the real-time data coming in. I mean, so the ability to schedule the blast is a big deal. I mean, at this point in time, I think Mike can echo the fact that finding reliable people is getting harder and harder, and therefore like scheduling all this stuff is getting harder and harder. Getting the trucks out there is getting harder and harder. And so the operational efficiency for me is that obviously the blaster can look at the information in real time, so he can schedule the shot. He knows that we've been drilling let's say 80 feet an hour on average. We have 360 feet to go. We know that that's going to be 4.5 hours tomorrow, plus or minus whatever that is. And so we can get that thing on the schedule, or we can push it to the next day. And that real time information has changed everything for the operational side of things. And that's only like scratching the surface because of the safety and the liability aspect of having drill logs in the hands of blasters before they show up to the blast.
Yeah, for sure. Nick pretty much hit on it. I like to have everything scheduled and planned out for 2 to 3 weeks minimum. That way everybody knows where they're going, what they need, when they need to be where. By having the digital real-time drill logs, that is much easier to set out a schedule and start ordering product, whether you need AN delivered to a silo for a job that's 4 hours away or whatever the case may be, as well as making reservations for their room, their travel, everything. The driller is, as long as they're entering everything in there, then it just speeds up our process of from start to finish, as well as I think doing the digital drill logs, they're doing it as they're drilling the hole. In the past, when they're doing it on paper, they might say they drilled 10 holes in a 10-hour period at 50 feet or whatever, and in reality, they might have drilled 6. So they go back to the hotel or whatever, they're tired or wore out, and they're trying to remember what the hole depth was and how many they drilled, and it was just not as accurate in real time, and there was a lot of flaws in the paper drilling. When I could lay out a pattern of 500 holes, and I know there's however many drill feet from the layout on the design, from the floor elevation, and you come up with 13,000 feet too short on a paper drill log, that gets pretty expensive. When in reality, they did actually drill the 13,000 feet if you go out and tape every single hole. So it's just way better, more reliable, a lot more accurate, quicker. and it just makes all the operations from the drilling to the shot much easier, much better.
So a lot more also gaining or insight on the production capacity as well, right? So if you know exactly you're drilling to 13,000 feet, 13,000 square feet here, whether the time allocation that has been done, whether you're going to meet that or not. So that kind of also brings that efficiency, because now you have a good data to work with, whether we are delay on the project or whether we are on time as well. So that's great insight. Nick, you touched in your last comment a bit on the safety side. I want to, maybe peel the layer of the safety here. Like, how does the digital drill logging has contributed in the safety in your operations?
Yeah, sure. One more thing that I wanted to add to operational before I move on to that, because Mike jogged my memory. So if we have drills that are shifting, so we have two shifts operating on one side, or we have 5 drills operating on one side, or we have a driller leaving or a driller coming back or whatever. In the past, on paper logs, I literally would have the 2 drillers drilling, let's say, the A row. So we number our holes alphanumerically. So we have the A row, the B row, whatever. And I would have on paper logs, I would have 2 drillers said they drilled A 1 through 15. And now with the digital drill logs, they literally can't do it. I mean, they go to click on it and it says right away that it's already been drilled or whatever. So what that does is specifically, Mike touched on construction blasting. So if we have construction blasting, we're actually going down through an area and we might be hitting an OX of a street on one hole versus a slope on 2 holes away or something along those lines. So if you had 2 rows that were right next to each other and the driller thought he was drilling that other row, you could end up in some real trouble. And I've actually had to go back and re-drill a whole entire row or try to get back in the hole without destroying the color and stuff like that. So I wanted to touch on that operation when you have multiple drills and multiple on the same side. But as far as safety goes, the ability to look and see a void or something along those lines in the face. So the face is the biggest challenge that we have is addressing the face conditions and addressing the face drilling conditions. You have let's say cross communication to where the cuttings are coming out of the face or something like that. Not so long ago, we would be going out there literally blind, and the only thing we could do is just to build the hole from the bottom to the top, taping along the way, and making sure that that we were getting the ample build for the hole load. And in some cases, the product would run out or could be running out while you're trying to load, and by the time you catch that, you have a pretty dicey situation. And I was watching some videos of some bad fly rock face incidents, and it's almost always going to be caused by some type of seam or some type of discontinuity in the geology or something like that allows the hole to not just be the diameter and really where it was intended to be. And this information that comes out of here can nearly eliminate fly rock coming, basically horizontally out of faces if we grab the information and we actually take a look at it, which is, it's so easy. There's really no excuse not to scroll through the information pretty quickly. And I think that already, Strayos has probably saved people from, dozens, maybe even hundreds of fly rock face condition induced fly rock incidents across the world. I mean, I think that would be a totally fair statement. And a lot of times, because it's not something that we track, there's a lot of times there's no way to really track that data, because it would be, you'd be guessing whether or not it would have created that incident. So from a safety and liability perspective, huge improvement here.
That's amazing. And Mike, what are how you have experienced the safety improvement? Safety is always the big part and the culture of Wesco here. So curious to know with the digital drill logging, what are the safety measures and improvements you have seen?
I'm gonna, yeah, what Nick said, basically on your loading portions of the shot, if the driller is actively putting the information into his drill, the digital drill log, you can, from the face to the very back, if he hits a soft spot, if he hits a void, he's losing his cuttings, whatever else, at what depths, then on that hole can be marked, photographed, whatever, and put into the fielder app. Then I can work with the blast crew and on those holes, whether we need to deck them through a void or a seam or a soft spot. When we use when we use a heavy blend, whether we need to change the density at what levels, and on the face, as well as like Nick said, I mean, before, all the blaster's really doing is taping from top to bottom and making sure that he's getting the column to rise to the stem level that he's looking for. And with the information that the drillers can put in the fielder app, it makes it way easier to go along with the profiles that we create on the Strayos. With the shot design, I usually get the load out there with Frank and along with the profiles, and we'll go down the face holes and load them accordingly. So it is really reduced greatly the amount of blowout that we might have on a face, because we mainly in New Mexico, we have a lot of basalt, and basalt's a demon. So it has really improved the safety of any fly rock incidents or overloading. So yeah.
Amazing insights. I'm learning so much just having this conversation, like how behind the scenes, like how the data is being used there. So I think it's the time for one quick poll among the audience. So I'll release it if everybody can participate. And the poll is to just understand how are you using digital drill logging in your drilling operations. So we'll leave it open for about 15 seconds, and then we'll move to our next phase of the conversation. So pretty one-sided at the moment. It's still only 15% is about yes, where we are seeing it's been implemented as a digital logging system, but about the traditional methods here. Okay, so we'll close the poll. And I wanted to switch gears here. In our conversation at this phase, we talked a lot about what are the benefits are there, what are the advantages, but implementation is always not that easy. And it's not about just the technology is there so that it solves all the problem, right? And it has to be almost considered as a change management here, because we are bringing something new, and change is always hard. So I want to touch more on those aspects here. What are the biggest challenges that you faced when implementing digital drill logging in your operations? Maybe we'll start with Nick.
As anybody that's in this industry probably realizes that drillers and blasters are predominantly born of laborers. And so we came from some labor field And in a lot of cases, laborers became laborers because they were good with their hands and because they were capable people and things like that. And ultimately, they were promoted up into a position of, let's say, a driller or something along those lines. Well, the problem is that if you're really good with your hands, typically you're not as good with data input, writing things down, and the technology and things like that. So, my experience is what was a little bit difficult to implement at first because the guys that we beat over the head for years about paper drill logs, we need you to fill out your paper drill log, we need you to get it in time and all this kind of stuff. Now all of a sudden they were like this new technology. And in some cases, they even got the, well, this is only going to last so long because technology is moving so quickly. So why should I invest in learning this? And so it really came down to just selling, and in some cases, it actually took going back and showing what the return was. Like, what does it look like? What does the information look like on my side from the web app and a CSV file or something along those lines? And how is it organized? Because I have to sell to my team that this has value to them. And that value is probably going to be represented in a newer, nicer drill if we can improve production or something along those lines. And so definitely, without a doubt, the kind of gap in communication from the labor type people that were engineered to work with their hands and things like that, to technology was definitely one of my biggest challenges as far as getting this app actually implemented.
Yeah, I think my biggest challenge with them, Ravi, was the same thing, just getting them to actually accept the app, understand that I'm trying to make their life way easier and way more reliable and efficient. Some people, as Nick said, they're afraid of technology. I mean, I'm not a computer geek or anything by any means, but it was a lot easier, and I could see it would make their life a lot easier, and it would make us more efficient and accurate. So just getting them to actually accept it and use it. I'm not an expert in the Fielder app. I always call Elijah, and he's always probably, oh, it's Mike again, but I'm learning it and take it out to the field and show the driller, all of them, on one-on-one basis, that this is making their life easier and better, and understand the app and not be afraid of it. Was the hardest thing to do. Is just some of them were still making, or we're still using the paper apps instead of the Fielder. So when I'd call them and talk to them, say, why aren't you on the field? Oh yeah, I forgot, I got it. I was just putting it on paper. So it's just getting them to actually accept it and use it is the hardest part.
Yeah. So it's almost a baby step, and then also giving a comfort that this will be a lot more, not just simple and easier, but it will help you eventually. And instead of kind of forcing, there's almost like a guidance system building to help them out to continue into this journey there. So that kind of leads me to a next question, or just a topic here about the implementing any technology or solutions which has a technology aspect. It's always there is some obstacles, right? The technical obstacles, transitioning from traditional methods to digital methods. My network doesn't work, or oh, I'm downloading an app from a phone. Sometimes the app crashes, or so. I'm wondering and curious how, in your experience with your crews, how you have seen these common technical obstacles, and then how you kind of navigated with well, with a credibility that kind of this will work eventually there.
I think to answer that question, yeah, there it has a lot of we have not the filter. There's technical issues, there's problems. Oh, it's not working. I don't have service. Um, but most of the time, what I've seen a lot is just either they're not syncing it like you tell them to over and over, or they're just not doing it. The oldest driller I have wanted nothing to do with it. And once I went out and spent the day with him and showed him and worked, I mean, he loves it now and it works, and he doesn't seem to have any technical difficulties anymore, other than forgetting to sync. Once he has gotten it, now he loves it. He wants nothing to do with paper. The other guys, it's just kind of been human error. But yeah, you're gonna lose. You have to update, and they don't want to update, or they forget their logins, things like that. So those are the little things that we've seen with them.
So my biggest experience with the kind of pitfalls of new technology has really just tied over to like what a responsive company Strayos is. In many cases, a guy will send me a text message that says, "Hey, you know, I can't get into my Strayos, or I updated it and now I can't remember my login credentials or something along those lines." And I'll actually just start a group text message with myself and Elijah or Ravi, or sometimes both, and the driller that's having the problem. And I just know that the problem's solved at that point in time. In fact, 9 out of 10 times it doesn't even need any more input from me. And when we come across problems, one of the reasons why I like Strayos versus other things that are out there, when we come across problems, I can reach out to Ravi. I mean, it doesn't get. I don't think there's anybody any higher in the company, and to have that type of engagement from somebody at Ravi's level. And then Elijah is just really second to none. I mean, that's who I talk to a lot. And so we're able to just overcome those technological pitfalls like it's nothing, whether it needs an update to the program because we found kind of a bug, or whether it just is somebody doesn't know how to navigate the program. So for me, it's been all Strayos and none of me, and honestly, I can even say none of my team that has been really navigating those pitfalls as they come along.
So the support and the knowledge development is kind of the key part in overcoming these technical obstacles. I truly echo that, going through that is kind of our philosophy as well when we work with the customers and partners. How do we make sure that everything is taken care there? Just the from the challenges, continuing the challenges part here. I want to maybe understand a bit more, and for the audience perspective here as well, how can really companies measure the benefits? We talked about safety, accuracy, speed, reliability, but when we are implementing newer technologies, what type of ROI measurement you kind of build around that when you're thinking about implementing systems like digital drill logging and continue to enhance the scope within the operations? So yeah, the ROI measurement side, that would be good to understand.
So for most people that do any drilling whatsoever, it really comes down to feet per hour of production, which ultimately and then matching that to whether or not we're destroying the machine or whether or not we're using excessive tooling. And all of that pairs down to cost per foot. And without good data, we can't even really pare that down in any type of real time scenario and be able to see. I mean, sometimes I'll look at a drill log or a shot that's being drilled and I can see we're having a problem right then. and as in some cases, Mike can probably echo this, we'll probably drive out to the site. And so the return on investment comes from literally improving the production rate. I mean, that's what you have to do is improve the production rate without without obviously destroying the machine or using excessive tooling. And in most cases, people will naturally improve their production just by knowing that you're paying attention to what they're doing. I mean, just literally knowing that you're and it's not, for me, it's not like Big Brother-ish. I'm not lording over my guys or anything like that, but they know that I have the information available in real time. And so things like start drilling time, I mean, that's a big deal. You know, before, a guy could put any time he wanted on a paper drill log, and I had no way to confirm that. But now it's timestamped by your device, and so the return on investment definitely is just, you know, more production per drilling hour, which ultimately lowers the cost per drill foot.
Fantastic. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to echo Nick's. I think once they thought when they were doing the app that it was kind of something like a watchdog that were, you know, seeing if they're really doing what they're saying they're doing or anything. But now that they know that I can check it in real time on my end, it's amazing how much more drill footage they get in a day compared to paper logs. It seems to be less breakdowns or issues with the drill that, you know, they didn't get so many holes. So that was our biggest thing, is more drill footage per day out of each of the drillers that have that app on their phone.
Yeah, and then one of the aspect that the reporting part, right? I think we've had these discussions, you know, before in our offline conversations, like how the reports that gets generated either on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, you can start to see some pattern about which drill is being utilized excessively. So what that means for me to plan my tooling or maintenance. Can you touch more on that, Nick? What that data and reporting means to you?
Yeah, so I mean, we're really only looking at three aspects when we look at drilling in general. We're looking at the drill, the driller, and the account. I mean, that's really all the moving pieces to this. So if you have a drill and driller that's you know, utilized for let's say 20, 25 days out of a month during the summertime, wouldn't be uncommon at all for somebody to work that much. Wouldn't be uncommon for a drill to run that much. You know, the ability to just open that and I typically look at in CSV files. So I actually grab the CSV and I manipulate and move the data around myself. That's just how I usually do it. But the ability to look at all that information together, you know, very, very quickly and see the utilization of the machine, how many hours it actually drilled, and also to manipulate that data to get whatever KPI it is that I'm looking for. It's really proved itself to be very, very invaluable. And you know, the other side of the equation is so what's being underutilized? What machines do we have that's not being utilized properly? What drillers not being utilized as much as he could be? Do we need to like ramp up staff? Meaning, do we need to get more drillers? Do we have too many drillers? You know, do we need maybe one more utility type of employee that can run, you know, some drills? Like how do we navigate? Because utilization is the key. I mean, kind of one of the major keys to all of this: utilization of the drill, utilization of the driller, and ultimately how much is the account utilizing the tool that I've put in front of them. And even going back to paper drill logs, you know, I've had to actually leave a customer because they were using the drill 6 days a month, and they just had it parked there all the time, and we had a driller assigned to it all the time. And without the information that coming in, I would have never even been able to capture that. So utilization is a very, very important KPI for Petra.
That's another great insight for me, like how the data empowers the overall operations here. We have about 10 minutes left, and we have a lot of questions coming from the audience here, so we'll get to that. I want to wrap up with a couple last just the points here about what's the future trend look like, or what's the future trends do you foresee in the field of digital drill logging? And it's a very broad topic, so I'll let it take it away in any direction that you both want. So
I'm kind of excited to see which it'll go. I think eventually the drill will probably generate the drill log with the smart drills that they're coming out with now, and I think we're kind of just scratching the surface what you could do with the digital drill log, from generating what's the driller's doing, what the drill's doing, to the shot reports for the blasting crew. I think you probably just kind of scratched the tip right now, Ravi, and I'm sure you'll develop it where the drill will probably do it.
Yeah, I definitely second the added information coming in off the drills. So we're a fairly young company, and in our early days we had to just take whatever kind of equipment we could get. We are starting to get some equipment with some measure while drilling information coming in, and the ability to overlay that with the drill logs. And ultimately, in the end, it's just going to become completely automatic. And I think that's where where the rubber is going to kind of hit the road on all this, because like Mike said, I mean, we're barely scratching the surface of the ability of what's out there. So I expect it to go pretty quick from here. And I see all the time that Strayos is actually adding, aspects and different reporting options. And now we have a shift log and all those types of things. So I'm really excited to see what the future looks like.
amazing. Well, thank you again, Nick and Mike, for your amazing insights, sharing your stories and experience. This has been tremendous to just learn about how you have used the digital drill logging system and empowered not only your team, but also the entire customer, inside development, like, how the operations are happening as well. So, which is always interesting way for me to learn how this type of tools being utilized. We'll switch to the audience Q&A, and I'll moderate, one by one. We have about 7 minutes here, so we'll get to as many as questions as we can. If we cannot, then we will just respond it those questions, over the email as well. So, starting with there are some housekeeping questions here. I think it's about, is the digital drill log a part of a Strayos drill and blast suite, or is it a different app which you separately? So I can answer that. It is a separate app, but it is fully integrated with the drill and blast suite as well, because the data flows seamlessly. Now, the other question is related to does the software track drill bit life and feet per hour drilled by driller and drill leg? So I'll let maybe Nick, you wanna tackle that. I'll add. I'll probably add it, in my way, that it can track the drill utilization as how much drill you're using. It doesn't go to the drill bit level yet, but it also it does track the feet per hour. It will generate all those, reporting driller by driller and the machines as well.
So I found it easiest. Drill bit life and drill tooling life is pretty tough, especially if you're trying to compare it all the way down to drill tool manufacturer. So what I have started to do is like at the beginning of the job, we have X amount of tools available to us, whatever's on the rack, whatever's on the ground. And then actually I have them just put it in the comments section now. And so when they put it in the comments section, when I grab the CSV file, that comment section is there. And then at the end of the job, same thing. We record what was left at the end of the job, and anytime something comes in. So if a driller or if a let's say labor or something brings 5 steel to a job site, then they'll just record that in the comments section. And so I found it to be a little easy to just compile that information myself. But with the introduction of the shift log, that information is now becoming available on the app as well. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I've reached that thing's full utilization. And then as far as feet per hour, it's all super easy to grab the feet per hour by driller or by drill rig. Just same thing, go to the CSV file, which is essentially a Excel spreadsheet for anybody that doesn't use those, and you can just move the information around, hide columns, hide information, and then sort, and you can quickly disseminate that information. So I would say yes, absolutely, we're checking on those boxes.
Yeah, there's another question here, Nick, for you about the drilling rate. So does this app provides the penetration rate information per hole or any other types of measurement, penetration rate per yard or per foot? So that is the question here from Sven.
So you can actually open up the app and you can look at penetration rate, time per hole is one of the report things that comes out on the mobile app. So that's one of the things you can see literally in real time. To pare it down further or to manipulate that information, again, I would default to go into the CSV file at the end of the blast or at any time. Anytime that information's been synced up, that CSV file is available. And so the answer is pretty much the same. You can compare that penetration rate all the way down to any piece of KPI or any way that you're trying to read that KPI.
And then the other question here is the digital blast log could be integrated with MWD data from drill rig? So the answer is yes. The platform, Strayos platform, has an option to accept the MWD data from the drill rigs. And if you have the digital drill logs as well, that can be combined and meshed together as well. So that is an option. The other question is related to how does the software record and display soft seam versus void? So that's a good question. So, I'll Nick and Mike, you can kind of also answer that. But I'll just start the way the visualization is built. It's color coded, so you can assign different colors when you are onboarding your drill rigs or a job site. You assign certain features and then you color code that. And then by the whole column, you will start to see those features in different colors. So,
yeah,
Nick,
that's one of the features I like is their drill logs are very colorful now, but each color has a meaning, whether it's hard or a void or a seam or soft or whatever the case may be. And you can click on that hole, and it's really nice to see, the difference in whether the density of the rock or its soft area or loose material, whatever they're using it. But then they make the comment with the color what it means. So it's really nice.
Fantastic. So I know we are almost at the top of the hour. We didn't get to the full question, but we will respond to those questions in a written form. With that said, I would like to thank Nick and Mike, for your fantastic, story sharing and just, getting the audience to understand how the digital logging not only benefits, but also what are the challenges in the implementation. That is where a lot of the crux of this discussion is, how to overcome those hurdles and take a baby step to continue to move and get the rich data for overall drill and blast optimization. So again, very appreciative of the fact that you took a time to share your experience. Thank you again.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And for the audience,
thank you, Ravi. Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah, and for the audience, thank you for joining in for today. We will send the recording, and if you have any other further questions, feel free to contact us. We can also reach out to Nick or Mike if you have any more operational related, questions as well. So we'll be happy to answer the questions.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Until the next time. Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.